Hello and welcome to another Purveyor of Light Photoshop quick tip. Today we've got an interesting one. So many times we take these once in a lifetime trips, to exotic locations, and we know that we're only going to be there once, and we come back home and maybe we're not exactly happy with the images we brought home. Sometimes we didn't have the time to stay for the right conditions, or the sky was empty, or the conditions were just wrong for the perfect photo. And I'm looking here right now. I have a picture from the famous wreck in Iceland. And for those of you that don't know the story about that, that's a United States Navy DC-3 that crash landed there in 1973. And, they experienced severe icing and they had no choice but to put down. And the wreck has been there since 1973. And of course, with photographers, we just love wrecks and ruins and things like that for photographs. So photographers have been drawn to this site for years and years and years. And it's probably the most photographed airplane wreck in all of Iceland. Everybody that goes to Iceland, has to come home with this picture of the wreck. Since I've been back there, I've found out that things have gotten, I guess, too much traffic, too many photographers, and this is private property here. So the owner of the property has since recently turned around and banned all vehicles from the area. So, which means if you want to go to this wreck now, you're going to have to hike it 4 kilometers. And let's see, let me do my math here. That's about 2.4 miles, somewhere about that. So be quite a hike to get a picture now. But then again, it's been here since 1973. I think there are literally thousands upon thousands of images of this wreck already. One of the things that I always wanted to do with the picture here, and I just didn't have the opportunity to do so, was I didn't have the conditions, believe it or not. I wanted to shoot this at night with the northern lights. And I thought that would be a perfect backdrop, or maybe the Milky Way in the back in the sky, and that, Again, the conditions weren't there, so you can only take the conditions that you're there for the time that you are there. And so I'm looking at this photo and I'm like, oh, I'm not going to go back to Iceland. And I'm like, I don't want to throw this photo away, but it just doesn't work. Okay. If we have to be honest about our own photos, right? The sky and the wreck, the sky says cheery and happy, and the wreck says, destruction and decay. They're conflicting with each other. Now, even though Mother Nature put this together, it doesn't work. And, the conditions are not there. So I said, I wonder how far we can push this. Can we we can't turn it into a masterpiece, but could we turn it into an experiment? And I says, let's do this. I says, so I'm going to quickly make a video, and that's exactly what I'm doing. I'm going to take this photo, and I'm going to turn it from night to dark, and I'm going to go ahead and put the northern lights in the sky, and we'll see what we can come up with. Okay? It may not work, but I think it's worth a try. And in this way, at least I'll have a photograph to remember the wreck by. And so let's jump right in. Okay, so the first thing is, I'm like, okay, we've blown out the sky. The highlights are gone here. We've got the black sand, okay, and of course the wreck. All right, so I'm sitting there and I'm analyzing what I'm going to do. All right, Photoshop's got that new sky replacement, so let's give that a try. And I'm going to duplicate the layer. There we are. And edit and sky replacement. And Photoshop will analyze it and say, okay, that's the best we can do. See, even Photoshop says, there's no hope for this photograph you took, Len. It's just a bad photograph. But, okay, I happen to have a picture of the Northern Lights from a different occurrence, and I'm going to go ahead and select my own sky. Let's see, do I have it in his library here? I think I put it, yeah, I did. Okay, picture of the Northern Lights here. We're going to put that one in. And, okay, not bad. Not bad, but we need to convince the, we need to convince that the airplanes at night, it's too bright, too much detail. And I think we can do that if we use a color lookup table. All right. So I'm going to give that a try. So I'm going to go ahead and put in a color lookup table. And I'm putting that below the sky replacement. Okay. I only want it to affect my original image. And I'm going to go ahead and use a lookup table. Let's see. Let's try night to dark or night to day. That's looking pretty good, actually, but it's a little too intense in my opinion. I'm losing too much of the airplane, so maybe I'm going to drop the opacity back. See how that looks. Make that more believable. That's not bad. That's not bad at all. If I turn it on and off, that's not too bad. But I'm really getting the black sand, here. I'd like to get a little more detail in the black sand. So maybe I could, I think I'll bring some more contrast into the image. So right on this color lookup table, I'm going to go ahead and bring up filter, and I'm going to go ahead and let's see, right, being filter, and I'm going to go to Nik Collection, and I'm going to bring in the Color Effects Pro. One of my favorite things in the Nik Collection is tonal contrast, and it just brings. I'm disregarding the sky because we know the sky's already been replaced, but I'm looking at the sand and that, and I'm liking what I see there. It puts enough granularity, it puts a little more detail into the fuselage, so I think that's looking pretty good. Little adjustments here on the midtones maybe. Alright, I think I'm pretty satisfied with that, so we'll bring that in. Okay, so now we're looking here. That's not looking bad at all. I really do believe that is not looking bad at all. I'm going to make a new group here so I can make it easier, and I'm going to take everybody here and put them, well, put them in a group. Okay, so now I can turn that on and off to see what we started with here. Before, again, this guy was my enemy this day. Normally I would be very happy with clouds, but on this particular day that wasn't the photograph I was looking for. And then we've gone to this. I think that's not bad. I think that's sellable as far as believing it was shot with the Northern Lights. What do you think? So, again, not an award-winning picture by any means, but it's the idea to tell you that, if you have a photo like this that you know you're not going to ever go back to this location, and you want to do something with it to try to save it, make it more interesting, there's nothing wrong with taking your creativity and trying to do what you can to save it. And for what you saw right here, what I did was a very simple thing. We utilized another photo that I had taken of the Northern Lights, okay? And we put it in here. We did a sky replacement, and then all I did was a simple color lookup adjustment and to make it to dark, and then we turn around and put a final contrast increase on for the detail, and we're good. I mean, if you look at it now, we've got good detail in the black sands. We've got good detail on the fuselage. I think if you look around, we've got some pretty good detail. And I think this is going to work. So there we go. So we have taken the photo. We've, in my opinion, saved it, and we can now be happy and save it in our collection rather than just throwing it in the trash. All right. So hopefully you found this guys useful, or at least entertaining. And just a reminder, that we all don't have the best days in photography, but we'll always try to do what we can to save a photo that we know we can't go back and take again. So, all right, till next week, you guys take care.